Welcome to another episode at the Nothing for Granted podcast. I am ecstatic to be here with you today. Thank you so much to all of you that attended Friday's masterclass, specifically for freelancers and founders that wanted to get started or want to get started in growing their business using funding. This guide was such a help for so many entrepreneurs. I've gotten incredible feedback. If you were at the workshop and would like to share exactly what brought you the most value, what really stood out to you, I would love to hear that. I want to know what's really working for you and how I can best continue to serve you. If you weren't at the masterclass, then let me just make this announcement. The Funding with Foresight Matrix is officially open. The cart is open. She's out into the world. She's ready to serve you. She is gorgeous. She is going to help you grow, explode, expand your vision, your dream business. So definitely check out the informational page if you want more, want to know pricing and what's included and all of those things. So today I really want to talk to you about why you should be pursuing grants as a small business owner. We're going to be talking about some of the pros, some of the cons, and what resources are available to you to help maximize your funding journey. Let's go ahead and just jump right in. So small business grants, unlike nonprofit grants, small business grants really have a short window. They literally are sometimes just a couple of days. I've seen some as short as 10 days, that from the release date to the actual application deadline. So they're very fleeting, which means that you need a system to help you keep on track, to know what's up, what's coming. You don't want to miss a deadline. You want to make sure that you have all of the necessary documents in place. Now, with the research element of funding, you absolutely can DIY this process. And I actually usually encourage my clients to try and do it on their own. By the time they come to me, they already have. So they're like, listen, I tried, been there, done that. It didn't work out. I need my time back. So if you haven't, definitely try it out. It is it's a journey, to say the least. It can be exhausting because if you are Googling grants for women, for example, you are going to find so many advertisements and dead ends and grants that you're not even eligible for, and funding out there that requires that you use loans and financing, and that's not really what we're looking for, right? We don't want to touch our savings. We don't want to touch our credit scores that maybe we're still building or we're saving for, I don't know, purchasing a home, even though in the current real estate market, I don't know about that, but I digress. But you may be saving your credit for something else. We want to try and build our business without debt, right? And so grants really allow us to do that. But it seems like getting to the right grant is an obstacle within itself. So here's where the matrix really helps you out. It helps you stay on track, helps you know, okay, these are new and upcoming deadlines for these grants. You can create an entire calendar based off of what's already been pre-vetted for you on the matrix. Remember, it has 10 different categories of industries and growing. So for example, if you are in the health and fitness industry, then you already know, okay, these are the grants that are coming up. I've got until the end of the month to get this one together, and then I've got next month to get this, whatever else needs to be put in order. So you have a better system rather than trying to just identify what grants are going to be for you on your own. Because if you were doing it on your own, then you would probably be researching grants for health and fitness over here. And then you'd be also researching grants for moms because you're a mom over here. And then you'd also be researching grants for women because you're a woman and you own a business. So the amount of time, when we multiply that by how much you charge an hour, is it really feasible for you? And that's just a question that you're going to have to pose and answer to and for yourself. Is it feasible for you to take 60 plus hours out of your month, for example, towards just research. We're not even talking about collecting the information, the data, the documents that you need. We're not even talking about the proposal. This is just in research, where really it's the bulk of where your time goes. So number one, I want you to just keep in mind that these deadlines for small business grants, they're super, super short. So let's move on to number two. I believe that small business grants are the best way to help you grow your business. And it's because it forces you into a corner. It forces you to answer the questions that you don't really want to deal with in your business. Let's be honest, nobody wants to talk about what's your runway. For those of you that don't know what your runway is, and I didn't even know that was the exact term for it until just a couple months ago, your runway is pretty much just how much money do you have in the bank to run this business? For how long can you run this business without going broke? That is a tough conversation to have. No one wants to look at their bank account and say, man, I've got 2 more months to make this business work. If not, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. No one wants to have that conversation, but funders will ask you, what's your runway look like? They will ask you, what differentiates you from your competition? I know we're always talking about, well, I'm not looking at my competition because I don't care what they're doing. I'm in my lane and they're in their lane. Absolutely. You're 100% correct, as you should be. But it is also your due diligence to be aware of what's going on in your market. And so while we definitely do not want to compare ourselves to our competitors, to our peers, to whoever else, we definitely do still want to be aware of what makes us different, what makes us stand out, how are our services providing value in a different way than other experts in our industry. So sometimes we start our businesses and we just really want to avoid those aspects. We want to talk about the marketing. We want to talk about, the networking. We want to talk about the branding and the photography and all the beautiful elements of it. But when it comes down to data regarding your business, we usually tend to shy away. And this is really the information that grant funders want to know. Do you know what your market fit is for your product? How do you know that this is a product that's even scalable if you haven't taken the time to survey your clientele? You haven't taken the time to maybe create samples or have a beta launch. Like, how do you know that this is the right market fit? These are all questions, as you notice, that really what they're looking for is to identify, are you a market expert? Are you a market expert for your industry? Are you an industry expert? Do you know what you're talking about? And these are questions that will help them get to that answer. It's not enough for us to just regurgitate information. No, we have to know that we know that we know based off of data, analytics, based off of research that we take the time to conduct within our businesses, the time that we take to have honest conversations with ourselves about what's working, what's not working, how can we get the needle moving, where do we need to work a little harder, where do we need to invest. You guys know I'm huge on investing in my business. Right now I'm in a place where I'm not really focused on the money element. I'm really not. If I was, I would be freaking out because I just pivoted my business. So I'm not. I'm focused on building a strong foundation so that I can build the legacy that I want to build for myself, for my children, and for their children's children. So when you really get down to what is important, what are you doing? Are you building your business on a rock, or are you building your business on sand? You know the answer. You really do know the answer. If you're building your business on the rock, then you know that God is a God of organization. And He is not going to give you a business that he will not be able to sustain. But it is your job to properly administer that business, to properly administer the resources of that business, whether it's the people that you're managing, whether it's the money that you have, whether it's the skill set that he has deposited in you. It is 100% your responsibility to properly administrate what has been given to you, to know when is the time for me to invest in my business, because when we invest big, we gain big. And I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about just in terms of your education, in terms of the way that you show up, in terms of your confidence, whatever area of yourself you are investing in, that will always reproduce dividends. As somebody who invests in themselves quite frequently, I can tell you that at this point, I know when, yes, this product is for me, no, it's not. I can make a $7,000 investment in my business and not blink twice, because I know that when I make an investment, it's everything that I'm going to get out of it is everything that I put into it. I just had this conversation actually with Edward where he was, just questioning me about why it is that I invest so much in myself and just all the growth that he has seen in me, and how he would like to have a similar experience. And I said, well, honestly, the more that you invest in yourself, the more you will realize it's never about the person on the other end. It really is about you. It's about you. It's about how much do you put into it? Are you implementing the information that and the knowledge that is being deposited into you? Or are you just sitting on it, waiting for that consultant on the other line to do the work for you? That's not the way investments work. So I had a really honest conversation about, listen, my growth is just the result of the work that I have put in. The people on the other end, yes, I'm very selective about who I invest with, but ultimately, the result, that's my work. I did that with their guidance. And with that partnership, I got to where I am. And so it really requires for you to start a proposal, just kind of coming back full circle, to start a proposal and to go through the questions and to get to questions that make you feel uncomfortable. Guess what? Good. Because in the discomfort, that's where there is growth. So embrace that. Look at it as an opportunity for you to really work on the little facets of your business that you have just been avoiding and thinking, well, maybe I could just outsource this. No, learn how to do it yourself first. Know what it takes. Know what it is that you want to get out of it before just outsourcing it out. These are things that as a CEO, you need to be able to do. A CEO is able to run their entire business pretty much on their own if they absolutely have to. So I really want you to consider just that little piece alone is why, like if I could drop the mic right now, I would say just for that, just because grants give you the opportunity to identify the weak spots in your business, just for that, you should start looking into funding as a way to grow your business. So moving on to number 3, it's free money. Grants are free money. Accelerators, free money. Pitch competitions, free money. And not only that, but the access that you have to investors. The access that you have to mentors. Do you know what that is? To be in the same room as investors and say, hey, what really was it about my application that stood out? Can you tell me what that is? You have the opportunity to rub shoulders, to get in the heads of people that you probably never would you not have shot your shot in the first place. A lot of people say, well, I don't have investor buy-in, and that's why I haven't been able to secure funding. Okay, but if you go through the process, if you apply, let's say, for an accelerator because you have a product that is market ready, that is highly scalable, and you are one of the finalists and eventually the awardees, guess what? These are questions that you can ask your investor. What was it about my application that stood out? Was there anything I could have done better? What recommendation would you have for somebody that has has not gone through this process and maybe would like to get into this, because I have people in my network that want to know. These are questions that you only get to ask if you're in that same space with them. And again, it's free money. You're freeing up your savings, you're freeing up your credit, you're freeing up your working capital so that you can in turn grow your business, expand that vision that God has put on your heart for a reason. I want to just stress the fact that we're not here to grow our businesses, to grow our pockets. That is just a byproduct of the impact that we are making. Really, that's it. We're here to make an impact on this world. And how do we do that? Through the skills that God has put into us. So let's optimize that. Let's maximize that. We can do the same things and better than men can, because guess what? Men aren't afraid to risk big. It's crazy to me. I've been working with primarily men for the majority of my entrepreneurial journey, and I will tell you that they're not afraid to make big investments. They don't care if they have the money in the bank or not. They're going all in, and that's why they gain big, versus we women are just a tad bit more calculating when it comes to investing. We are not as calculating when it comes to buying a new purse, a new workout outfit. Totally guilty. But we are hesitant when it comes to investing in businesses, investing in sometimes even ourselves, right? Because even myself, when I go to the store, for example, this just happened yesterday. We went to the store. My husband says, "Let's buy you a pair of Tevas." And I said, "Well, I don't need Tevas. You guys know I'm a minimalist." And I was like, "I don't need Tevas. What do I need Tevas for?" And he's like, "It's hot, girl. You cannot just keep wearing, boots every single day." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So we're at the store. I see some Crocs. My daughter's been talking about getting Crocs. And I'm like, you know what? The money you were going to use to buy me Tevas, I'll just use it to buy, my daughter Crocs. And he's like, absolutely not. And that's the example that came to mind, because that's exactly how we are when it comes to our money. We always want to put other people first, instead of acknowledging that when we put ourselves first, when we take care of ourselves, guess what? We can show up as the most excellent version of ourselves to serve our families, our clients, our community. So that really is where it all begins. When we take the time to say, you know what, God, I need to pour into myself first. And that means coming to you. I need you to give me strength. I need you to give me wisdom today. I need you to give me. Let me start with me. Let me get myself right, so that then I can impact and influence those that are connected to me. So let's talk real quick. We're going to recap why if you are an aspiring or current entrepreneur, you need to be pursuing small business grants. Number one, deadlines come and go. So you really need to make sure that you have a resource that's going to keep you accountable, keep you on top of those deadlines. Number two, it's a great way for you to get intimate with your business, get to know more about your business, you can be more knowledgeable about what's really going on, the weaknesses and the strengths of your business. And then number three, it's free money. So honestly, why not? Why not? Why not? So here's your plan of action, okay? Number one, we're going to create a Google Drive or a Dropbox with all of your documents, everything that you need for your grant. It's going to kind of just be a catch-all, and this will continue to grow as you write more grants and you start noticing that different grants are asking for different things. For example, right now I do see a trend in more funders requesting videos. So in my Dropbox, Google Drive. In my Google Drive, I have a video on there that I actually just submitted this morning for a grant. And so I have 2 or 3 videos that I've created just describing my business, what I do, who I do it for, the problem I'm solving, etc. So that Google Drive, you're going to create it, insert all of your documents in there, your certifications, everything that you need, and continue to build it as you continue applying for grants. Number two, you need to know exactly what are you seeking funding for. So you need to have a resource that you can turn to say, these are the grants that I can actually apply to. That's where the matrix comes into play. Like I mentioned, you are exchanging that time that you would be taking into research and really putting that into proposal writing, because you already know what it is that you're eligible for. You already know exactly what it is that you can apply for. So you're going to use that matrix, go through the matrix, because you're going to be eligible for more than one category, like in my example previously. And you're going to, number three, create a funding plan. I like to keep it at 6 months to a year. That way I'm staying super on top of myself. I know exactly what are the major grants that I want to be pursuing. And then as I see different opportunities come up, if I find some that are super easy, I already have my Google Drive. So it's literally just attach what I need to attach, tailor my proposal as needed, and submit. And that's how I have been able to secure funding for the Beauty Academy that we are opening, God willing, in September. That's how we've been able to secure funding for that. And again, it's using the very resource that I created. I really created it for myself, and it has been a game changer for me. I've created funding strategies for my clients, and they have been able to secure funding on their own using that resource, and it has been completely beneficial to them as well. So definitely be sure to get yours immediately, because like I mentioned, these deadlines, they're quick. You don't want to miss the millions of dollars that are already pre-vetted for you. The grants matrix, it has accelerators, it has pitch competitions, of course it has grants. We have over 10 niches identified. So we have creatives like journalism, photography, we have food and beverage, minority owned, retail, beauty, so many different niches, and growing. So you are going to have on there your deadlines, the eligibility. I have some expert tips that I like to insert, proposal links. You're going to have monthly trainings via a private community where you can ask questions. You will have access to unstuck sessions that are being offered only to my students. And then, of course, you can access the database via the app. There's an app available so that you can also access it that way. And did I mention that you have lifetime access? So this is a funding strategy that you can use for the long term. As an expert, that is invaluable. We're talking about a service that is over $3,000 per month, and you are getting it at a steal. The link is down below. You can visit my website at buffaloambitionco.com for more information. Get yours soon, because the cart is going to close. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate, reach out to our support team. Thank you so much for being here, Visionary. I'm so excited to hear about the way that you expand your business using funding, and I will catch you in Friday's episode. Many blessings on you.